see, it is going to be two armies fighting across this lush terrain across here with the Imperial barricade in the middle, and it is going to be Ultramarines versus High Fleet Gorgoroth today. So Tyranids are back on the channel. It's been a while since they've been out, so it'd be good to give them a bit of a run. So we are playing the No Mercy mission today. So that is basically just kill points, which is very fitting for these two foes. And as you can see, we're playing Vanguard deployment. So there's a line running parallel across that way and across this way as well. Tyranids deployment will be this side, which is quite fitting, just coming through all the trees, heading inland past a couple of barricades, boxes, barrels, ammunition dumps, and just moving across into, they'll be wanting to be getting into the centre here, near the Space Marine statue, and the communications array on the top there as well. Whether the communications array will play a part in a subsequent storyline, we will wait and see. But the blue dice across here, just running through this old ancient ruin section over here, will be reserved for the forces of the Ultramarines. So we haven't done any deployment or anything like that yet. So me and Graham, we will be taking turns in deploying our armies, and then we will have a look at the army lists. So once the we'll get the bolters heated up and the teeth and claws nice and sharpened. So let's go and have a look at the army lists. Right, so this is the 2,000 points worth of Tyranids which will be taken on the Space Marines today. We are using two detachments. We're using a spearhead detachment and a battalion detachment, which gives us, of course, with us being Battleforged, gives us 7 command points today as well. So the spearhead detachment is, we have the Malanthrope just at the front as the HQ choice. We have the Hive Guard, which have the Impaler cannons, the Exocrine, the Screamer Killer, which is just at the front here, ready to charge off, and the 3 Carnifexes at the back with the heavy venom cannons. Now these guys have the spore cysts and the enhanced sensors, and of course the Screamer Killer has the spore cysts upgrade on him. So that part of the force forms the spearhead. So the rest of the force, the battalion, we do have the Broodlord. He has the Horror psychic power, and of course Smite. 10-man squad of Genestators with Scythe and Talons and the Claws. We have the Warlord at the back here, Hive Tyrant, with the 2 twin Brain-Leeched Devourers. Powers that the Warlord has, because that guy and then that guy as well are very similar. So the Warlord is the one with the more bigger crest on the top there. Powers that he has is Paroxysm and Psychic Scream. And the other guy over there, he has Catalyst and Onslaught. And then, as we said, we have the Horror for this guy down here. So the rest of the force, we have a squad of Termagants just at the back there, protecting our back line in case of any deep strikers. We have another squad Termagants there, then another squad of Termagants over there as well. We are using High Fleet adaptation. We're using the Jormungand one. I don't know if that's the correct way of saying it, but that basically means that anything except flying units, if I don't advance and don't charge, I count as being in cover. So that'll be a +1 to our saves, which will help us out as we're moving across the barricade across here. Just in reserve coming through the tunnel is the Trigon Prime. No upgrades on him. And like I say, we've covered the Warlord traits. We do for this guy, I've got a Warlord trait for him. I haven't decided yet, so I'm going to decide and then I'll let you know what Warlord trait I've decided for this guy before we start. So we'll go and have a look at the Space Marines, which will be taking them on. Right, so this is the Ultramarines force that will be taking on the Tyranids today. Just a quick mention on the Tyranids, I have decided with us using the Jormungand High Fleet, we are taking the Warlord trait Insidious Threat, which means that Warlord and any units within 3 inches of him firing against the unit, that unit will not gain any benefit from cover. So Graham's Warlord, speaking of Warlords, is the Librarian here, and powers that he has is Fury of the Ancients and Might of Heroes, and of course Smite alongside that as well. We have a Redemptor Dreadnought armed with the Gatling weaponry there, We have a 3-man team of the Centurions with the twin Laz, a tactical squad here with heavy bolter and a normal melter gun. In this one we have Grav and missile launcher, and of course at the back, just anchoring, supporting them, is Predator Annihilator with the las cannons, deadly las cannons. Moving across this side, we have the 5-man intercessor squad of the Primera Space Marines there, and just anchoring the right hand side is the Land Raider. Inside there is a 2nd librarian as well. Is he in Terminator armor as well?
He's in Terminator armor.
Terminator armor for that guy. And powers that he has is Veil of Time and Psychic Scourge, and of course Smite for him as well. There is a Terminator squad in the teleportation chambers as well. Just a standard Terminator squad.
An assault Terminator
squad. An assault Terminator squad, yeah. So that's how many you have? 3 Thunderhammers in that squad?
3 Thunderhammers, 2 Lightning Claws.
2 Lightning Claws. Right.
And also, just to note, the Warlord down here has got Iron Resolve as well.
Iron Resolve is his Warlord trait. Okie doke. So Graham, he did deploy before me, and he did roll higher as well. So he is going first, unless of course that I can see. Now I can't command point this, so hopefully we'll get a nice tasty 6. Okay, on a 3 we don't. So we will go to Space Marines on their turn 1. As the guns heat up, they can see this big monstrosity looking towards them, and they will no doubt be wanting to kill the Xenos threat. So we'll be back in a moment. Right, so we're just back after movement for the Space Marines on their turn 1. So everybody is basically shifted forward, the Librarian issuing us out as commands. The Tactical Marines have just shifted into the complex here, and the other ones have just moved through this gap between the trees, supported by the Redemptor Dreadnought there. The Centurions just coming around on the left side to the Tyranids, just looking to get some shots more than likely against the Exocrine. Backed up by the Predator Annihilator on this side. Terminators at the end of the turn of Deep Struck, more than 9 inches away, just in the centre of the compound. They're looking to protect that with their lives. Across this side, the Intercessors just came around this side, looking to do a flanking manoeuvre, just use this as a bit of cover. And the Land Raider just sweeping around with the other Librarian inside of there as well, just coming through this ruined passageway across this side. So apart from that, that's all the movement done. All the Marines are now on the board, like I say, apart from the guy that's in the transport. And apart from that, we will go into Psychic and Shooting. So as the Librarian looks to dish out some some supportive powers, maybe. Everyone else has their guns trained, so Tyranid lines are about to rip apart. So let's go into Psychic and Shooting for Space Marines on their turn 1. Right, so we're just back after a very quick Psychic and Shooting phase. So Psychic was uneventful. Graham tried to cast Fury of the Ancients from this guy and failed. Apart from that, that was Psychic done. Shooting, the Centurions fired into the Exocrine, and with that that bubble protecting him, with the Jormungandr High Fleet adoption protecting him a little bit, did take 2 wounds down off him as well. Across this side, a lot of firepower coming in from these 2 squads and the Redemptor Dreadnought firing into the Gene Stealers, with the -1 to hit from the Malanthrope and the High Fleet adoption. It has almost reduced them down to half strength. So they're still a threat, but not as big as what they were. But they're fine over that side. Obviously the Terminators just staying where they are, no assaults or anything like that. Firepower coming in from the Predator, coming in at the Screamer Killer, did no damage. So we'll find that side of it. Just that -1 to hit for the Spore Cloud protecting us, and the Spore Cysts as well. Just to mention, the Screamer Killer and these all have the Spore Cyst upgrade on there. Nothing from the Primaris that didn't have a target, but they'll be moving around here in the later turns. And the Land Raider helping to claim First Blood, wiped out this Termagant squad here. We did bust morale and lost all 3 of them, with their leadership being just out of range for this guy. So no synapse. So that's First Blood scored to the Space Marines, so 1-0. No assaults, so we will move on to Tyranids for their turn 1. Right, so the Tyranids are on the move. So the beginning of movement, well, the end of the movement, sorry. So we'll start from this side. So the Exocrine has stayed stationary just to be able to get that double shot power. Same as the Hive Guard, just backing them up. Malanthropes just shifted across just to protect these units a little bit better. The Warlords just shifted across into this crater. The Screamer Killer got, he's advanced, he got a 3-inch roll for that, so he's moved up 10 inches in total. So he won't get the benefit for the adoption for that, because if they advance, then they don't get it. The Broodlord, he advanced up 11, as well as the Gene Stealers, they moved up 10 in total. So these guys have all advanced. The triple unit here of the Carnifexes, they've all shifted up. The Termagants have moved up as well. And across this side, these Termagants have shifted up as well. And the second in command has just moved up this side. And just at the end of the turn, the Trigon Prime has burst up 9.5 inches away, just from the back lines, looking to cause some disruption in the formations within the lines of the Ultramarines. So that's everything all moved that could move, and we're going to go on to Psychic and Shooting for Tyranids on their turn 1. Right, so just back after Psychic and Shooting for Tyranids, quite a lengthy one, just with all the guns and Psychic firepower that I've got in this force. So across this side, we cast Smite from this second in command Hive Tyrant onto the Land Raider and reduced him by 3 wounds, so no real significant damage there. Then we cast Catalyst across onto the Gene Stealers, so that's what that green dice represents, just to be able to ignore wounds on 5s. Across this side, we cast Psychic Scream and Smite from this guy, from the Warlord across to the Terminators, one being the closest target, reduced them down to 3, so very good there. And then we also tried to cast the Horror from the Broodlord across to this squad here, and we failed. Shooting, Carnifexes did very well, fired all their rounds in across to the Predator Annihilator. We got 6 shots altogether, so he rolled 1 because it's D3, he rolled 2, and then he rolled 3, so 6 shots across into there, did very well, reduced it down to 2. A lot of firepower from the Exocrine. We played Parthenogenic Slime. Unfortunately, the very first round of shooting, we absolutely failed. So we targeted the Redemptor Dreadnought. We got our hits, but every single one of them we needed force to wound, and we failed. Second round, however, we did reduce it down, and it's got, I believe, 4 wounds left on that guy over there. And firepower from the Hive Guard managed to take one of the Centurions out. So we haven't actually got a kill point yet, but we are weakening a lot of the units down. And just obviously firepower from the Devourers just weakening this squad down, and this one just taking 1 wound off the Primaris Marines that way. So we have finished shooting. We do have some charges to set off. We're going to charge the Terminators. We're going to charge with the Gene Stealers and the Broodlords, the Broodlord. And then we're going to charge the Screamer Killer. He's going to go into this squad here. And then the Trygon Prime is going to try and attempt the charge into the back lines of the Marines. So obviously no Overwatch here. So we're going to charge the Gene Stealers in. So we're going to roll that just down here. Okay, so on a 5-inch charge should be enough to get them in. If not, we do have a stratagem on standby.
Yeah.
Yep, they're in. The Broodlord, just roll down there. Yep, that's 6. That should be fine for him as well.
Yeah.
So they're both in. Now, of course, Graham will get Overwatch from the Carnifex. So that's 3 shots from the Heavy Bolter. Okay, so hitting on 6s.
Nope.
No from there. The Melter. Melter gun.
Yes.
Oh, he gets a hit. So that is 3s to wound.
Yep, wound.
Does get a wound. And the Melter gun, I believe, is -1, I think it is. Not very often I come up against Melter guns.
Just double checking that.
It used to be a really big thing back in, I think it was 5th or 6th. Melter guns are huge, and then lots of people have switched over to plasma now. So very good.
Ranged weapons. I cannot find it. Look, Melter gun. -4.
-4. Right, okay, so that'll not give us a save. So, yep, so damage for that.
Damage is... Melter gun, I've lost it again. It's D6 damage.
D6, so
But
Screamer Killer could be in
a target within half a range of the weapon, roll 2 dice in inflicting damage and discard the lowest.
You'll not be being, he's not within half.
No.
So D6 damage on. So he takes 2 wounds coming in. So we'll just mark that up with the dice down here so I can remember. Okay, and the bolt, you got a bolt pistol, and then.
But that's actually a plasma pistol.
Plasma pistol, sorry. So
yep.
Nope. And the 4 bolters, which will be rapid fire for them because they'll be in range for rapid fire.
Oh.
It's 8 shots coming in from them. Marines doing very well on their Overwatch.
So it's 1, 2, 3. That is 4 hits. Strength 4, toughness.
Toughness 7, so 5s.
5.
Oh, 1 wound.
1 wound.
3 up save because we have advanced, so we don't get the +1 for our high fleet. And that is a 3. Bit of a bad dice actually for this, but he's fine. And distance for him, just roll down here. He gets a 4, so he doesn't make it in. Not going to command re-roll that one either, so he's just going to sit there. Right, so we'll carry on with the rest of the charges. We'll get this one resolved as well. Get everybody in combat, and we'll come back once the turn is finished. Right, so we are just back at the end of Tyranids on their turn 1. They have made a bit of an impact. So, combat-wise, obviously you've seen that the Screamer Killer failed to get in. These guys got in. The Predator did quite well. As you can see, it is blown up, but he did take the Trygon Prime down by 4 wounds. So, not too bad over that side. These guys absolutely tore apart the Terminators. Just one lone one left. He has passed morale. These have passed morale. Obviously, they couldn't fail morale over that side. So we've got 1 kill point over there for killing that unit. There's just a lot of... we wanted to get this unit here, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. So that's end of turn 1, all done and dusted. At the moment, the Marines are still in the lead, but we will come back for Marines on their turn 2. Right, so we are just back after Space Marines turn 2 movement. And as the Tyranids have breached the compound, the Librarian has signalled everyone to move in. So the Redemptor Dreadnought looks as though he's just going to try and take as much wounds off this Screamer Killer as possible, lend some support, maybe block the pathway. supported by the tactical squad there and the Centurion Devastators. They've just come round. As the smoke bellows out of the ruined tank, the Librarian and the tactical squad, they just come round towards this way, still within an inch away from the Broodlord. Terminator obviously still in combat. The Intercessors have just shifted round this way. The Land Raider stayed stationary, but the second in command, he's just came out to lend some psychic support. It looks as though these are going to try and take some wounds off this Hive Tyrant. And apart from that, that's everything all done for movement. So we will come back after Psychic phase and shooting for the Space Marines on their turn 2. Right, so we're just back after Psychic and shooting for the Space Marines on their turn 2. So Psychic, Smite being cast from this guy, reducing the Hive Tyrant by 2 wounds. And across this side, we did deny Psychic Scourge from him as well. Across this side, we also denied Smite from this Warlord. We denied... No, it was just the deny over there, sorry. On this side, this Warlord, he cast Smite on the Broodlord and took him down to half strength. And then he cast Mighty Heroes on this one? Or
Mighty Heroes.
Mighty Heroes on him. So that is +1 attack, strength and toughness. And that was it. So shooting, as you can see, looking across this side, the Trigon Prime is gone. Took a lot of firepower to do it. That came from the Centurion Devastators. This tactical squad was the killing blow from the Melter guy, and this tactical squad lent some firing as well, so that was destroyed. Wasn't in range for death throws either, so nothing happening there. And just firepower coming in from the Intercessors and the Land Raider, just reducing this Hive Tyrant all the way down to 7 wounds in total. And apart from that, that's everything all done. So Graham does have a couple of charges to set off. The Librarian is going to attempt to charge in to the second in command. So we will obviously get Overwatch and just get some dice ready for that. So we will have 12 shots from our Devourers going into the Librarian, so hitting on 6s. Okay, so we have a couple. And that is it. So we are wounding on 3s in strength 6. Okay, so we get 1 wound.
2 up.
Yep, 2 up save. There's no minus or anything like that.
No.
And he is fine there. And to charge him in. Ooh, a 3-inch charge.
Might not.
No, I don't think it's going to be in at all.
Nope.
You could command point it if you wish.
I think I will.
That's 3 command points left for Graham. He's basically used them all for re-rolls throughout the games. 5-inch charge should be enough to get him in. Yeah, he's in. Just to mention for command points as well, we have 3 left. We use 2 for Pathogenous Slime, and then the others have just literally been for re-rolls for shooting. So we currently have 3 each now. Over this side, there's just a straight up roll here.
Yep.
Okay, yep, that was 7, so he's in against the Broodlord. We will get Overwatch for the bioplasmic cannon, the spit from this guy here. So we'll sort that out off camera. We'll get everybody moved in, mainly because it's not very often that I've used bioplasmic scream. So we'll get that sorted, and then we'll come back once the combats have been resolved. Right, so we are just back after the end of Space Marines on their turn 2. So over this side, not a great deal of damage done against the Hive Tyrant. He's currently down to 7 wounds. We did no damage back. Across this side, the Redemptor took out the Screamer Killer, just absolutely obliterated him. On this side, we did get Slay the Warlord. The Broodlord absolutely minced him to pieces. And then in return, the Gene Stealers, they took out the last remaining Terminator. So that has put the scoreboards at the moment a level, so 4 points apiece. Graham currently has 2 command points left as well. He did use a re-roll in combat, and that is that we still currently have 3. So at the end of that, it is currently tied, but we're going to go into the second turn. It's been an absolutely brutal first couple of turns, but just the second turn for Tyranids, and it is looking a bit bleak for the numbers wise of it for the Space Marines. However, they are tougher, especially with they've still got pretty much a Land Raider that's almost on full health down here. That's obviously the Primaris, but they are looking a bit bleak. Let's see if we can bring that down a bit. So we'll be back after movement for Tyranids on their turn 2. Right, so just back after movement, and as you can see, Gene Stealers are on the move. Broodlord has just stayed where he is. These guys have just shifted up. Obviously in combat he's going to stay there. The Carnifexes have just shifted up. These have advanced 10 inches in total. And the Warlords just shifted back, as well as the Malanthrope, who advanced as well. So he moved 10 inches in total. The Exocrine and the Hive Guard have stayed stationary just as a bit of a gun platform. They're looking to get some shots across over here, see if we can weaken these units and get some kill points. So we're going to do a psychic and shooting phase, so we'll be back once all of that's resolved. Hopefully a lot of these units will be gone. Let's see if we can do it. Right, we are just back after the psychic and shooting phase for Tyranids on their turn 2. Psychic phase, we didn't really get a great deal off. Only real thing that we did was that we cast the horror onto this squad here. And that was it. The rest of the powers we did fail. Shooting, however, Carnifexes did really well. They took out the Redemptor, got us a point there. And then the Hive Guard, they did really well as well. I was a bit dubious about putting them in the list, but they have kind of started to redeem themselves a little bit since the last game that they were in. They took out the Centurion Devastators as well, so that's put us on 6-4. The Exocrine, I didn't use any stratagems for him this time because I did target this tactical squad and there's only 2 members left. So hoping that they will fail morale and give us another point there. Apart from that, that was everything. All that shot that can shoot that was in range is done. Only thing I'm going to do is set off 2 charges. We're going to get the Broodlord into there, and also the Gene Stealers as well. With that -1 to hit, that won't be able to hit. So we will just roll our straight up charge distances for that. Because it's 6. It's 6 is 2 for Overwatch, but -1 means that he won't be able to. So for the Broodlord, yep, he'll definitely be in on a 7-inch charge, so that'll be him in, and the Gene Stealers on a 9. So they both make it in combat there. So we'll get them all into combat with this tactical squad here and get everything all resolved. So we'll be back at end of turn 2 for Tyranids. Right, just back after the end of Tyranids on their turn 2. So over this side, we have reduced this squad down to 5, and then in morale, another one's died as well. Same for that guy, he's failed morale, so there's 1 lone guy that side. Across this side, we dealt no damage to the Librarian did no damage back to us either. So at the end of that round, we are currently on 6-4, and we will move on and see what... it's looking very bleak for the Space Marines, whether they're going to use this communication tower to signal for reinforcements. We'll have to wait and see, but let's see what they do on their turn 3. Right, we're just back after turn 3 for the Space Marines. I've decided to film the whole turn. Battery life on my phone's not the best at the moment, and also time. So as you can see, killed. What Graham did is he dropped out of combat there with the Librarian, dropped out of combat over there with the Librarian as well, with the normal guy, sorry, not the Librarian because I killed him, and las cannon fire from the from the Land Raider. I'll get my units right eventually. Killed the Hive Tyrant here, so there's a kill point there. And across this side, the Intercessors, they dropped back. Closest target was the Broodlord, and they shot him and killed him, so another kill point there. Psychic powers, nothing was cast, denied. And apart from that, that's everything all done. So we will go into the 3rd turn, potentially the final turn for the Tyranids, see if we can get up some points. So at the moment it is 6-6. Graham currently has used all of his command points up just for rerolls, and the Tyranids have 2 left. So let's have a look and see what we can do. Right, just back after the end of Tyranids on their turn 3. So what we've done is we've filmed the whole turn, just a combination of firepower. We took out the last remaining guy there, and these guys that came from firepower from this Carnifex and the Exocrine. These 2 shot across at the Primaris and reduced them down to 2, but they have passed morale. So that has put us the Tyranids on 8-6. So that's everything all done. We're just going to go into turn 4 for the Space Marines. Right, so we are just at the end of the turn 4 for Space Marines and the end of the game. The Marines have called it. A Librarian sent off a distress signal through this communications tower. The Tyranids are overrunning this planet. They've done very well this particular game. Final scores at the end of that round was 8-6. Marines did well to pull back. So I hope you have enjoyed this battle report. It's been very, very dominant by the Nids. I think Graham's list was good. A couple of changes, maybe things like the Land Raider, free up some points and put some more units in, maybe. Leave your comments as what you would have done as a Marine player. And also as a Tyranid player, I always like to change my list up. But thanks so much, guys, for watching, and tune in next time.